Hi and welcome to Auntie Cecilia Says. This video is an introduction to me, Auntie Cecilia. This channel is to be a venue to answer questions on a variety of topics and for you to get to know me. And for me to share some of my life experience and my knowledge with you, the viewer. So welcome, and now let me tell you about my plans for this channel. Have you ever wanted to know how to make a certain cake or authentic New Orleans gumbo or other traditional Southern dishes such as collard greens, macaroni and cheese, cornbread, biscuits and gravy? What about family history? Are you curious about where your ancestors came from and how they got to where you were born? What is their story? What about crafts? Crochet, knitting, quilting, painting, jewelry making? What about life experience stories that at the time did not seem very funny, but later they are belly-ripping hilarious? I have a few of those in my life history. What do you do when someone upsets you and you don't know what to do about it? What do you do with those emotions? How do you deal with it? We can talk about it, as I have tons of stuff on my shoulders to get rid of for good myself. Talking seems to help me. This channel is not to be mistaken for a counselor's office, but sometimes a friend or an impartial person can give a different perspective on things. Okay, now about me. My name is Cecilia. My birthplace is Mobile, Alabama, and I do love my Southern culture, although I have lived in the Midwest, Ohio, and Illinois since 1988. I do take trips back south as often as possible. I grew up in a small community in Mobile County, Alabama, and named Plateau, and it no longer exists in name, but many years ago was incorporated into Pritchard. The first few years of my life, my grandmother was my primary caretaker, as my mother was raising me as a single mother, and she was a factory worker. My formal school education was from September 1949 to May 1959, when at the end of my 10th grade, I married for the first time. Eventually, I went back to get my GED. I also completed the LPN nursing program in Mobile, Alabama, and I took business courses in Mobile. General education classes at University of Cincinnati and then at Bradley University in Peoria, Illinois, where I have lived for a little over 25 years. This education accumulates to probably about a mid-junior towards my bachelor's degree. It would take me probably 2 years to complete, but I am not sure that I would like to get out and go to the university several times a week for 4 or 5 hours a day. It is still a possibility and does have a spot on my bucket list. When I was a child, my religious education started at the Methodist Church, which was across the street from me. Throughout my lifetime, exposure to various religious denominations have helped mold me into the person I am. My religious journey to find where my religious faith would have a permanent home began in 2008 when I started attending RCIA, which stands for Rite of Christian Initiation for Adults. After 4.5 years, 2 annulments from 2 of my previous marriages before my current marriage of 25 years and counting, I was confirmed and baptized into the Catholic faith. Between my husband and I, we have 8 children, 7 grandchildren, 2 great-grandchildren, and I just found out a 3rd great-grandchild is on the way. Our family also includes 2 fur babies. Norm was the first to join our household, and February 3rd he will be 2 years old. Oh, February 3rd will be 2 years he's been with us. He was 13 months old when he came to live with us. His birthday is January 5th, so he is 3 years old now, as of January 5th, 2019. He is black and white, and he looks like he's wearing a tuxedo because of his markings. He is high energy and is constantly looking to be entertained or entertaining himself. He likes to play. He is not much for petting, cuddling, or purring. 1 month ago, December 5th, 2018, Homer joined our family. He is a chunky yellow-orange tabby, and he loves to cuddle. He loves to be petted, and he purrs a lot. He also likes to eat and sleep a lot. He is not much on playing right at this moment, but he's getting much better at it. Here lately, Homer and Norm have been having a lot of what I call 2 teenage boys having a high school wrestling match. Homer's paperwork when I adopted him, December 2018, indicated he was 2 years and 2 months, which makes his birthday somewhere around October 2016. Some of my favorite things to do are family history, genealogical research, cooking, and various crafts that include but are not limited to crocheting, knitting, jewelry making, painting, rug making, weaving, and my new favorite is finger knitting with yarn that is pre-looped when you buy it. This will be demonstrated in an upcoming video, as well as videos for other crafts. When I was about 8 years old, was when my mother taught me how to crochet. She gave me a pattern book, and she gave me a ball of crochet thread and a crochet hook that was appropriate for the size crochet thread I was using. And she showed me the basic chain and single crochet and double crochet stitches, and she told me to just follow the directions and do what it says. And some of the pieces were pretty rugged looking, kind of lopsided, you know. I'd lay it down to go do something, and when I'd go get back to it, instead of have it turned the correct way, I'd turn it around backwards, and I'd have rows going the wrong way. And so therefore it would be like an elliptical shape rather than a round shape. There just aren't too many crafts that I would not like to try at least once. I do love working crossword puzzles, Sudoku puzzles, jumbles, as well as other word puzzles. I have played many board games, but do not care as much for board games. Jigsaw puzzles are enjoyable occasionally. It's been a couple of years since we've done jigsaw puzzles here, and we talked about doing one, but we haven't started lately. Mostly I just like to keep my brain active. Perhaps that is why family research is probably my favorite activity. It was through researching my family, many family members that I never knew I had have become very important in my life. And these experiences I'll discuss more in detail under the genealogy videos. My cooking experience began when I was about 12 years old. My favorite cuisine is the Southern traditional foods from Alabama and Louisiana. Red beans and rice, cooked the New Orleans style, and seafood gumbo, also the New Orleans style, are two of my favorites. In fact, anything seafood, but preferably shrimp, crab, and oysters, and some fish are my favorites. Another favorite that I like, because my husband tends to be pretty picky about his food, and this is one that he likes pretty well, is sweet and sour chicken. And I have a very simple and easy recipe for this, and I will share it in an upcoming video. My niece Cindy likes to call me Auntie Cecilia. Often when we are talking about various topics, when one of us will have a question, the conversation usually turns to an Auntie Cecilia says, like this. This is what I would do. This is how I would make. This is the way you begin to. Your next step is, do you really want to continue doing this and being sick, or would you rather be happy doing what you're doing? Have you thought of doing it this way? Or did you try doing it that way? Well, think about it this way. Those are just some examples of the way some of our conversations have went. Therefore, Cindy suggested Cecilia Says for my YouTube channel. But since she often calls me Auntie or Auntie Cecilia, I selected Auntie Cecilia Says. There is a channel that is named Auntie Cecilia, but mine is the only one that is Auntie Cecilia Says. So be sure when you like or subscribe that you make sure it's Auntie Cecilia Says channel. I am so glad that you have visited me for this premiere video to introduce myself to you. If you like what you have seen in this introduction and think you would like some of the topics I'm going to cover in the future, please click like and also be sure to subscribe and come back and see what I post in the future. It may take me a little while to get going pretty good, as I'm really a newbie at this activity calling YouTubing. As I become more experienced, my goal is to add more variety of content and to do it more often. And again, like I said, please subscribe. And also, if you have any questions or comments or requests for a particular video or a recipe, just please post in the comments below, and I will respond to those comments. For now, Auntie Cecilia says, have a wonderful day and come back to visit my channel, and please share with others, especially your friends and family, and also subscribe. So see you soon. Bye.